Welcome back to the Higher Form Podcast. We're here every week having real conversations with leaders, coaches, and everyday people about what it takes to become your best. We know life will test you, and we're here to share practical tips, tools, and relatable stories to help you build the highest form of your life. Today we're talking about how to get your significant other to support your health goals. I'm your host, Nick.
I'm Brittany.
And this is a hot topic in our line of work.
Yes, we come across spousal objections or issues often enough that we felt like it was a good topic to chat about, because you might have a goal and your spouse might not understand it or support you.
Yeah.
So how do you get on the same page?
Communication is going to be key, so we'll talk a lot about that, but I think it's very simple for us to just start with a relatable scenario.
Yeah, for sure. So let's say you're like, okay, I'm going to get back in the gym. I want to work on my health. I want to buy this program. And your spouse is like, wait,
What?
Why are you spending so much? Why don't you just work out here at home? Why don't I teach you how to work out?
We have a gym membership.
We have a gym membership. Why
That's expensive. You don't need that.
Yeah.
You look good how you are.
Yeah. So how do you get your partner to understand why this is important to you? And I think that's it.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of it is that maybe that response doesn't mean, it feels like or sounds like they don't understand or they don't support you, but I don't know if that's always the case. I think a lot of times it's just more or less that they don't understand why it's important for you. They don't understand what you really want, what you need, how you feel.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when I have had these conversations, it's like, well, do they know that you don't feel comfortable in your own clothes? Do they know that you are always tired and you want more energy and your body hurts and you're not living the best version of your life, you know?
Yeah. And I think that that's the biggest point of it is, from our experience, a lot of people have a hard time communicating their wants and needs in terms of like their health goals or their fitness goals or whatever with their partner.
Especially when you got a lot of other things going on.
Yeah, your parents, you're working, you got other personal things in your life that are distracting or whatever. It's one more conversation to have with them that maybe just kind of gets tossed to the side and you're like, oh, whatever. And then you get to a point and you're like, okay, I really want to like work on my health and fitness.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do, and they're just like, oh, what? I didn't know that that was important to you, or I didn't know that you were wanting to do that.
I think it's especially difficult for anyone who feels this sense of pride that they should be able to figure it out on their own. Fitness is one of those deals where it feels like a lot of people think that it's super simple, and in concept it is, but executing it is way different, and understanding how to be able to tweak and change and get specific around what makes the most sense for each individual person. Maybe you have injuries, maybe your schedule's weird, maybe you don't know where to start, and we've talked about this time and time again, but there's so much information out there around what the best thing is or the right thing or the wrong thing. And one of the best ways, obviously, to cut through all the nonsense or noise is to put yourself in contact with a professional or get a team or other people to support in you. And that can be an environment, it can be a gym, it can be a program, it can be a coach. But sometimes making that commitment feels like it's extra, not necessarily something that is really an investment in yourself. And an analogy I like to use is your body is the one vehicle that you get. You can't trade it in like a car. And when things start feeling clunky in your vehicle, you take it to the mechanic because they're the pros to help you figure it out.
Yeah.
Maybe you could look it up on YouTube. That's going to cost you time, and maybe you mess it up. Why are you looking at me?
I'm thinking about your scenario. Like, I could probably figure out how to change my own oil if I really wanted to or needed to.
You change
but I'm going to take it to the mechanic because
it reminds me of that time that I had those scratches on the truck. I thought that's where you were going.
That makes sense too. We got to tell it. Okay, so Nick, I don't even know how you got the scratches.
It was wear and tear on
just wear and tear on the hood of your truck.
Yeah.
And
I bought a kit, matched the paint, everything was perfect.
You're like, I'm just going to touch up all these little spots with my own little paint kit. And you did. And oh my God, it looked like a toddler.
Yeah, it looked like toddler
so
art for sure. And I remember when we went to trade that vehicle in, when we got the SUV and first had kids, the people at the car lot were like, what happened to the front of this?
You're just like, I don't know, got
scraped
up.
hired some guy for cheap to try to fix it.
Yeah,
Oops, that was
myself.
me. Yeah, that was embarrassing in that moment, but we traded it off and I learned a hard lesson.
Don't try to fix your own paint job on your own car.
And if you don't know what you're doing in the gym, then hire a coach, right?
Yeah.
Really good analogy.
Yeah.
But I really want to lay the groundwork for what our goal is in this
Yeah.
conversation. It's not just to talk shit on people who can't communicate with their spouse about their goals. It's actually to give you resources, tools, and frameworks for thinking to help you get your significant other, or maybe a family member or a friend
Yeah,
or
maybe it's not a
a
spouse. Maybe
yep,
it's a roommate that you live with. Maybe it's a parent or a friend,
or one of your kids
or one of your
yeah.
kids, whoever. Yeah.
And the goal is to help you see things from not only the perspective of how you can communicate better, but why maybe you are feeling that resistance from somebody. Maybe
Yeah.
their thought process and your thought process are misaligned. So just hopefully some of the tips and things we talk about today will give you a little bit more groundwork and resources to see things different and communicate better around getting you in a position where you feel like you got the support you need.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. So I think just understanding maybe why there might be some resistance to your newfound interest or your change in your goals or your plans. If you're like, I want to go get a coach, I want to go to the gym, I want to start working on my health, and you feel some resistance with them, right?
Yeah, and I don't think that it's necessarily always intentional. I think sometimes it's just a misunderstanding. It's not meant to be something where like, no, I don't support you,
Yeah.
because obviously you're with that person, or anybody in this scenario is someone that cares about you and wants to see you feel good
Yeah.
and be happy. But it could be financial concerns, insecurity, discomfort around change.
Yeah.
Maybe the values that they see and have aren't aligned with yours. And if you've never had conversations around these things, or
Yeah.
you never really dig on that, it can be hard to get on the same page.
Yeah, and I think this is where it might be like, this is where explaining what this means to you can be helpful for your partner to understand. Your partner being, I don't want to have to repeat this throughout the whole
Yeah, we'll
conversation.
say partner,
We'll say partner or
and you can
significant other or
exchange that for
something.
whatever scenario you're
Yeah, because
gonna
this can
get
go
it
a
to.
bunch of different ways. But
Yep.
for your partner to financial worries, they see it as an expense and not like an investment. And you're like, okay, well, I'm investing in my health. So because this is going to impact me in X, Y, and Z ways, it's not an expense, it's an
Well, I think
investment.
breaking this down, especially for anybody who is the analytical money manager in the family
Yeah.
and the person that sees the dollars in the budget and thinks about that very objectively,
Yeah.
I think it's really easy to start to see the total investment for something. And coaching programs can range from a couple $100 to a couple $1,000 a month, depending on how intensive it is
Yeah.
and what kind of coaching you're doing and all of those different things. And when you look at it from a total cost perspective and a price tag, a lot of times people will assume that anything that's going to be guided and more hands-on, the first thing you hear is, wow, that's expensive.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't expect to spend that much money. But when you break it down, let's just say you see a coach 3 days a week and you're paying monthly for something. If you want someone that's good at what they do, let's assume that coach or that person makes $30 an hour. And then they have to be paid, and the facility they work in has to be paid for the rent, the equipment, the other things. And there's got to be enough of an opportunity for that business to be able to make a profit to reinvest in the experience and be able to make sure that everyone there can continue to work.
Yeah.
Like, just on the margin side of it, I see that side of it. Turn around and then you're paying, maybe it's group or one-on-one, 30 to 50 to $100 a session for something. When you break it down like that and you understand the bigger picture around what's happening behind the scenes, it actually makes more sense why something costs that. And if you're thinking, hey, I'm going to go get a trainer, it's going to cost me $20 an hour for a one-on-one training session, that's not going to get you a very high quality experience.
Yeah.
And if you want something that's going to work versus going and paying for a gym membership, you got to play the difference out. Like, is this a gym membership? Is this a coaching program? Is this a guided online virtual
Well,
thing?
and to be fair, the spouse or the partner in question, or the one who you might be feeling resistance from, isn't going to be looking at it from that point of view.
And that's what I'm getting at, right? Because it's all surface
So,
level. It's like, hey, I really want to work with this coach. Here's what it costs. What do you think about me doing that? And that's
yeah,
the way people open the conversation.
totally.
If you want an opportunity to do it, you should start with why you're feeling that way.
Yeah, like, hey, I've been feeling low in energy. I'm not sleeping good. I'm not feeling very confident in myself right now.
Yep.
I want to work on my health to feel better about those things.
Yep.
I found a coach. This is how much it costs. I think this is really good for me.
Here's what I get. Here's the
Yeah.
value. Here's why I
Yeah.
think it's something that will work for me.
So not always starting with the price. If you're going somewhere that costs a chunk of change,
If you want somebody to be on board,
you gotta
you got to open up with the value before the price.
you
And
gotta
I know
talk
that
about your why it's important for you, why
yep.
is it valuable for you, and why it makes sense to pay that much.
And I know a lot of people have a budget, so I'm not sitting here saying that you just push the budget to the side.
For sure.
Most people have a budget that they're working within, but at the end of the day, the goal is to be able to figure out what's going to work for you. And a lot of times, we've seen it in coaching programs, not even fitness related. We make that investment, maybe it hurts a little bit,
Yeah.
but then we take it serious
Yeah.
and it works and we get the value out of it, and then we turn around and we get more on the other end.
Yeah, because we're not currently paying for coaching program
We're paying for
fitness-wise,
mentorship
but we're paying
programs.
for mentorship programs for our business, right?
Yep.
And so it's the same thing. It's just a different category. Yeah.
And maybe it's not the money, or maybe that's the smoke screen in front of it. That's an easy one to say, nope, we don't have the money to do this right now. Let's move
Yeah.
on. It's like, all right, well, can I talk to you about how I feel so we can find a
So
solution?
we can find a way to make it work.
Because sometimes some of those surface level things are easy excuses to get out of having a deeper conversation, especially if it's uncomfortable.
For sure.
And one of the most uncomfortable things is maybe that person feels insecure with where they're at in their own journey.
Yeah.
And maybe they like the idea of feeling where they're at and being comfortable, and change is scary. And if you want to be in better shape, you're going to have to do harder things.
You're gonna have to change the things that you're currently doing.
100%. And that insecurity, that discomfort, that change, that can be something that's really vulnerable to talk about.
Yeah.
So just being in an environment where you can say, hey, look, like, I really want to chat with you about something that's been weighing on my mind. When can we have a conversation where I can be vulnerable with you?
Yeah.
And being transparent about where you're coming from. That way you can set the stage and frame the conversation to actually get into what needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing that most people struggle with, is how to frame getting into something versus just going straight in and having a conversation
Yeah.
around.
Like, look, I want to get coaching. It costs this much. Can I do it? It's like, okay, well, you gotta get in a little deeper so the other person understands where you're coming from.
Yeah, for sure. Because if that's the first thing that they've got going on, even if it's your significant other, as good as a relationship as you will have with them, or bad, whatever, they're thinking about their own selfish demands too. I've got a lot going on in my head. You got a lot going on in your head. I'm thinking about the things I need to have done. And if we don't set the stage for a serious conversation, it's going to make it awfully hard for me to get on the same page with where you're at and how you're feeling and get in tune with that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And then maybe they just don't value it the same.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't recognize the opportunity. Maybe they don't feel the need.
Yeah.
Maybe they aren't feeling that same draw and pull, which obviously will make it a little bit harder, but that's where we're really getting on the same page about being clear around what's important to you, and then letting them know how you feel like this is going to improve not only your life, but your relationship, and how it will ultimately come back around to impact them.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I know you may not see it the same way as me, but I feel like if I do this, this, and this,
Yeah.
then I'm going to be able to show up so much better in all these different areas of my life, and for you, and to be a better partner and be a better family member and
Yeah.
friend or whatever it might be, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think just even maybe before, if you do have some sort of sit down conversation, kind of like thinking about the things that they might have resistance for up front so you can bring them to attention and you guys can talk through them and work through it, right? If you know your spouse is the one who manages the finances and that's going to be the first thing that they're going to say something about with your new
Have a game
goal.
plan.
Have a game plan. Think
Yep.
about some different options of how you can make it work. Maybe you stop getting coffees every day and that adds up to half of what your membership, whatever it is. You
Yeah,
know
we
what I mean?
talked
Try to
about
get
the faster
strategic.
method before
The
too, right?
faster method, but yeah, just try to get strategic about, you're like, okay, these are the things that they're probably going to show me a little bit resistance with. How can I prepare and have some options available?
For sure. And
Yeah.
the beauty is we have access through Google or any AI search engine or platform to get a general idea of what to expect going into it.
Yeah.
And say like, okay, what do coaching sessions go for if I want this, this, and this, or need this, this, and this, or
Yeah.
I don't know where to start. Where would I start with a coach? You can get a generally good idea of what's going to make the most sense, and then lay that out, and then be like, all right, cool. Well, where am I spending my money? On the budget side, it's amazing to me how many adults don't actually keep track of their money and where
Yeah.
their money is being spent. There are apps out there that you can use that will track it for you. You can do the old school Excel spreadsheet and balance it out with your bank accounts like we do.
Yeah.
And you can evaluate, like, man, I'm spending a lot of money eating out right now,
Yeah.
and or I'm shopping a decent amount, or we're spending money on things that we could sacrifice and just reallocate our budget. So a lot of times when, at least in our experience, when clients get going, I've heard this a lot from people like, you know what, I actually end up spending less money total because I stopped eating out as much. I stopped
Hmm.
buying things to make me feel good in my clothes because I wanted to feel good in my body. And I was just masking that with different, nicer, materialistic things.
Yeah.
Where I
Yeah.
was buying all this makeup or getting my hair done. It's like, well, why don't you take care of the thing that you can't change and the thing that you can't trade out later?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That makes
So when
sense.
somebody says, hey, you just can work out in the basement, or hey, you don't need that, they maybe just don't understand where you're coming from. And I think that's
Yeah.
the biggest piece, is
Yeah.
really tying that together so that they can see things from your perspective.
Yeah. Yep. Which leads us into the next kind of piece of it is communicating your why.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be vulnerable to help them understand why this is so important for you. Why do you want to be able to keep up with your children? Maybe you're a grandparent and you're like, I really want to be able to keep up with my grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe my energy is low. Maybe I feel depressed or my hormones are messing with me. And you're just like, I just need some sort of outlet to help my metabolism get regulated, whatever.
It has to be beyond, I want to look better.
Yeah, it has to be beyond like, I want to have abs or I want to be fit looking,
And it is
right?
always so much deeper than that. Sometimes I don't think even the people that are looking for it understand it. I had someone reach out yesterday and like, can I lose 40 pounds in 12 weeks? Maybe. I don't really know where you're coming from, but let me ask you this. Do you want to keep the 40 pounds off? And why do you want to lose the 40
Yeah,
pounds?
what is that going to do for you when you lose the 40
Yeah.
pounds? How is that going to impact your life? Are you going to feel better about yourself? Are you going to have the energy to go take this big trip that you want to? Like, what is the reasoning of why you're
Yep.
inquiring on this new goal or this change in your programs or whatever, right?
Great video by Simon Sinek. It's Start with the Why.
Yeah.
And it talks about how instead of talking through what you want to somebody and how you want to get it and why it's important to you, the second somebody hears what, hey, I want to go spend $1,200 on this program and it's going to help me figure out how to work out better and I want it because I want to feel better.
Yeah.
The second that person, especially if they're financially motivated, here's $1,200, they aren't going to listen to the rest of what you have to say.
They're like, yeah, we're not going to spend
Yeah,
that
yep,
much.
sorry, done, out.
Well, I'll go get you some dumbbells and you can work out in the
Yeah, cool.
basement.
That'll cost us $120 tops, and you
Yeah.
can figure that out. Cool.
Yeah.
But if you say, hey, I really am feeling uncomfortable in my own skin, and I tried to chase our kid across the street the other day, or whatever the thing was,
Yeah.
this is why I'm feeling that way. This is how I want to improve it, and this is what I looked into and what it would look like.
Yeah.
The whole frame of that conversation looks completely different. So if you
Yeah.
haven't seen that video, highly recommend it. It's 2 or 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
Start with the Why by Simon Sinek on YouTube.
This is kind of like a ripple effect, right? So you start working on yourself. Let's say you're like, my energy's down. I want to be a better parent. I want to feel more confident as I go about my life in the business setting, whatever your reasoning is. That's just going to impact so many more things in your life that you have to think about too and consider and try to get your partner to understand as
Yeah.
well. It's like, this is going to make me a better human in all of these different aspects,
Yep.
right?
Maybe I've been more irritable lately,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry. I think it's because I'm feeling like I'm not taking good enough care of myself.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, when one person in that relationship starts to feel better, they act different, they look different, they carry themselves more confidently.
Yeah.
It's wildly noticeable.
Yeah.
And we get a chance to see it every day. People come in and they're like, "Gosh, you just told me about a story with a granite."
Yeah, yeah. One of our clients here at Avexia, I was chatting with her last night and she was like, "Yeah, my husband needed to move this piece of granite countertop in their house to somewhere else." And he was like, "Oh, I'll just go get the neighbor." And she was like, "No, I can help you." And she did. And she was like, it just felt good to just be strong enough to help with something like that that previously she wouldn't have been able to do.
Yeah.
And he would have had to go get a neighbor to help him move this thing.
And
And
if that's my wife, I'm like, "Whoa,
yeah, you're like,
Okay.
oh, nice job, honey.
yeah, good job."
Would you say that to me?
Yeah, we talked about this.
Haven't I helped you like move a washer and dryer
Yeah,
and
the
fridge and
one thing
stuff?
that I remember, the only time I think about is when we tried to move the fridge into the new house that one time, and I thought that
Yeah.
we were borderline gonna end up
Yeah,
with an
moving
accident.
will really challenge your
Yeah,
relationship.
moving and driving in new places, those two things are 100% like testers. So if
Yeah.
you're not sure if they're the one, move something obnoxiously large together and see if you don't,
See how
jump
it
down each
goes.
other's throats. Or maybe go on a road trip and
Yeah.
see
I feel like we
who
talked about
breaks
that
first.
once. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that was a super cool win for her. She
Yeah.
just felt strong enough to do something in her daily life that she wouldn't have been able to do before. But that just means like she's working on her strength here in the gym, but that's like impacting her life at home too, not just how she performs in the gym.
Yeah, nothing about that was like my I can fit in a bikini and I look better.
Yeah,
And that's
like
cool too.
I have abs, I can move a granite countertop. It was like, no, like I'm strong because I've been
And I'm
working.
confident. And you
I'm
know what? I feel like you don't need to get the neighbor because I can be here and we can
Yeah.
do this together.
Yeah.
And I think that while it's such a simple task, it gave them an opportunity to bond over something that maybe she wouldn't have been able to do in the past.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, you want to come help me move this? Because I know you've been working in the gym, and it can be a whole like inside thing, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So
For sure. Yeah.
I feel like when you have the opportunity or take the opportunity to start to set this stage to be vulnerable, you just really have to lean into the emotional side of it. And if you're not a very emotional person, this can be very difficult.
Yeah.
But you have to trust the person is going to be there for you. And if they're not, then you've got to be able to be like, look, maybe we don't see eye to eye on this. Can you meet me in the middle, right?
Yeah.
And I think we'll talk more about some of that as well.
Yeah.
But in this case, you got to lead with emotion and not get too defensive and be patient with each other and work
Yeah.
through it. It takes communicating, and that's not easy to do, especially if you are not on the same page.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I think this kind of goes into the next one too, is just like including them.
Yep.
Inclusion, like maybe we go and do this together, or if maybe I start doing it, I say, well, do you want to go for a walk with me? Or why don't we cook this healthy meal at home together? Because you are going to be changing some of the things that you were doing previously. If you're working on your health, you might be eating a little differently. You might be going out for walks or going to the gym more often than you were before, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, how can you ask them to be a part of that with you
Yep.
to get them interested or see how it is for you and why it might be beneficial for them too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're trying to include them or you're trying to invite them into this like process of going through it together, it doesn't have to be doing the same things
Yeah.
or executing it the same way.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the conversation is like, hey, here's how I want to go about this. I think we would both benefit from doing something
Yeah.
that would improve our health or our fitness or make us feel better in our own skin and
Yeah.
with our energy in day to days. I'm considering going this route. Is that something you might be interested in?
Yeah.
And if the answer is yes, then hell yeah, go do it together and enjoy the experience and grow through it. Or if not, then maybe I go do my version of it. Maybe you go do yours. And it doesn't mean that you both have to get there the same way,
Yeah, for sure.
but you got to get there. You got to
And
both got to get there if you want it to really work,
yeah, and I mean, we have a good amount of like husband and wife couples who work out here together or
At different
at
times.
different times,
Yep.
but it's like they're both have a journey that they're going on with together. And that's great if you are both on the same page with that. And I think this is a
Yeah,
way
and maybe you're someone who's already gotten in and that other person is feeling resistance. I think it's important to make sure that it's coming from a place of inclusion, not from a place of pressure.
yeah,
Like, hey, honey, I really think you need to get in the gym.
yeah,
Like, F off. I'm not trying to hear that.
yeah.
Or like, hey, I think we could both benefit from getting into the gym more often.
I think it'll improve our marriage or our energy or
Our relationship in general, yeah.
relationship. Yeah, yeah.
And our happiness and all the other things too.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
some examples of how you can invite them in, like you said, hey, let's go for a walk. Let's meal prep together.
yeah,
Let's go to this class together. Let's try this trial at a gym membership, or let's go talk to a coach.
yeah,
And then even then too, like you and I do this a lot. How was your run? How
yeah,
was your workout?
yeah.
How did that go?
Inquiring about how things are going.
Yeah,
Or
show that you
you
care.
share, you're like, hey, I just got back from a run. I hit a PR. That was cool.
Yeah.
It's just like getting them to see how this is improving your mood, your energy, all
Yeah,
of
and,
it.
and it's a chain reaction. It's a domino effect.
Yeah.
And
The
a lot
ripple
of times
effect,
you're
like I
look
said earlier.
a ripple effect, a domino effect, a chain reaction. I don't know
Give
how
me
many
a couple
other
more.
options. I'm just
Come on.
looking about it right now real quick. I think it's important to celebrate wins along the way because
Yeah.
it is a harder thing to do than not. It's easy to stay at home, but it's hard to feel like trash.
Yeah.
It's easy to eat the wrong things.
Yeah.
but it's not fun feeling overweight, you
Yeah.
know? So you got to figure out like what level of difficult do
What
you
kind of
want?
hard,
Like what
yeah.
hard do you want to deal with? Like,
Yeah.
there's quotes all over the internet about
Yeah,
that,
I'm
like choose your
picturing,
hard.
yeah, choose your hard. Would you
Yep.
rather do this or do that? Like sleep in, or like getting out of bed is hard, but so is not getting your workout in,
Great example. Like I
yeah,
did not want to get up and work out this morning. We
yeah,
had a busy day planned ahead and you're like, you
yeah,
can do it. Just set your alarm. You talked me through it. And then
yeah,
I got back and you're like, how did it go? And I'm like, it sucked, but I got it done and I feel
yeah,
better now.
yeah,
So I think it's one of those things where it was like I didn't necessarily enjoy the process, but I'm happy I did it
yeah,
afterwards. And it was easier for me to celebrate the fact that I did it because you cared and you asked.
yeah,
And I think that's the biggest thing we're getting at is, let them see the benefit that you're feeling as you're going through the
yeah,
process.
yep, exactly.
And then there may be times where you have to set some boundaries
Yeah,
if there isn't any support, or even if there is support.
yeah,
But boundaries in this conversation are also necessary, right? Like you got to be confident in the decision and what you want. So
yeah. Like you don't need permission from somebody else to better yourself,
1000%,
to prioritize your
no
health,
matter
to
the
grow.
relationship.
So you just have to have the confidence, like, look, I'm sorry that you don't agree with me on this, or we're not seeing eye to eye, but I'm still going to do this because this is really important to me.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put your foot down if it means that much to you.
For sure. And be confident in your decisions so that you can be in a position where, you can like calmly take that. And if you
Yeah.
are expecting resistance, prepare for it. That way
Yeah.
you don't get defensive and you're not like, screw you, I'm going to do it anyways. And then it
Yeah.
boils into the fight and all of this just ripples into whatever you don't want it to be.
Yeah, for sure. So I think just if they don't understand or see eye to eye with you right now, you can just be like, okay, that's fine. And just continue going on your journey. And you might have to continue having conversations as time goes
I think
on,
that's the big takeaway is
you know?
don't give up in that moment if it didn't happen the first time.
Yeah, for sure. I think, again, as things in your life start to progress and you start to feel better, and I would be hard pressed to understand that your spouse would not see the benefit of this for you.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to push through a little bit of resistance gracefully to be able to get to a point to where the other person can actually understand the scenario.
Yeah, like, oh, wow, this really is changing this, in our relationship, in your life, your energy's better, whatever.
And being able to be in a position where you're okay with them not being on board,
Yeah.
you got to accept that if it's something that really is important to you, sometimes the journey can be a little bit more lonely. But then in that scenario, I always tell folks that I talk with, like if you have somebody that doesn't support you at home, it's even more important that you find other people that
Yeah.
support you.
Yeah.
And that's where joining a community group, having a coach to be able to counterbalance some of the support you lack in other places.
Yeah.
You just got to get resourceful and find ways to do it. And most people can spend $50 a week on their health.
Yeah.
That's really not that much to ask for. You can go get a part-time job, DoorDash and doing Uber, selling something online. Like there are 1,000 different ways to make $50 a week that you can spend then on your health. And I would think it would be pretty difficult for you to not find a solution out there that is around 200 to $250 a month that gets you where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be ready to make that investment and do whatever it takes to get to that point. But that really, in the grand scheme of things, is not that much money, considering the benefits and what it can do for you on the other side of it when it's done appropriately.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just the hard part for most people
Yeah.
is not maybe being able to see far enough in advance to say, okay, this is going to pay off, and putting themselves in a position to really like make moves,
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I think that goes to like if they see you happy and healthy and
It
confident
changes
and
things.
energy, they're gonna be like, oh, that's nice. I want to feel like that too. Or,
A book I've talked about before is The Obstacle is the Way.
yeah,
And when you feel resistance at certain points in life, sometimes that's a sign from above that it's time to lean into it.
mm-hmm.
And maybe it doesn't go the way you want when you have this conversation, but you're like, you know what? This is something that's important to me. I'm going to find a way to make it happen.
Yeah,
And if anything, when you turn around and you can kind of like put a little bit of a chip on your shoulder and say, I'm going to do this, like I'm going to make it happen, you can believe.
mm-hmm.
When things start to click, you become a leader in that other person's mind.
Yeah,
You are showing them the way through resistance.
yeah,
And then all of a sudden, maybe that's what it takes, right? Like I think we kind of already said that, but
yeah, yeah.
let the results, let the consistency, let the effort, let the work and the outputs from the work turn around and start to lead the way for other people.
Yeah, and we've seen this too, where somebody decides they want coaching and they get involved in what we do, and then like their partner wants to start later
And
because
literally like 2 or 3 months later, it's
they're
like,
like, oh,
hey, my wife or my husband or my
yeah,
friend or my mom or my sister or
yeah,
whatever,
is like interested.
they've seen how
Yeah,
much more energy I have. They've seen that I am wearing clothes I wasn't wearing before and that I'm just feeling stronger and I can
yeah,
move the granite countertop now and
yeah,
whatever it might be. But when you can show the results and you can be in a position where you lead the way and you push through the resistance and you set those boundaries and really
mm-hmm,
give yourself an opportunity to go out and make it happen regardless of what level of support you have,
yeah,
it can be pretty empowering.
yeah, for sure.
And then not just for you, but the people around you.
Yeah, because again, it's a chain reaction, it's a ripple effect, it's a domino.
Those are the only three that I can think of.
It's gonna, everybody else is gonna notice it in your life too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
Well, you can't force people, but you sure can inspire them.
yeah.
And just circling back on a couple of the really important pieces, you have to start with the why.
Why is this important for you to uptake this new goal or journey that you're on? Why? So you need to figure that out for yourself first. I think that's step one. Before
Yep.
you even try to convince or talk to your partner about why it's important to you, you need to dig deep and understand, why is this important to you? Why are you wanting to go get a coach? Why do you want to go follow this program? Why do you want to get a bunch of weights for the house if you're working out at home?
Hmm.
Because you want to start there.
And I think be real with yourself too, because it's easy to look back and think about doing the most obvious things. Like, I'm going to just pull out my phone and follow a video on YouTube. I'm going to do some body weight stuff. Or I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. That's a great starting point. But if
Hmm.
you've gone that far and you're not getting results, or you have a gym membership and you're not using it,
Or
or
you're
you've
not
tried the things
consistent.
that
Yeah.
don't provide you the accountability and the structure and guidance that you need as if you were working with a coach,
Mm.
then it's probably time to get real with yourself about like, am I the type of person that's really going to take the time to figure out how to do this right for me on my own?
Yeah, or just like anything else, you're so busy and distracted with all these other things in your life. Is that one less thing that you want to have to be
Thinking about,
thinking about?
yep.
Or do you want to go somewhere where that's somebody's job is to help you get the results that you're looking for?
Yeah, especially if you're someone who likes to be in control. I can definitely relate to
You
this.
like to
Yeah.
be in control?
Letting go of control is one of the most, especially when you find the right support, is one of the most freeing things possible, where
Yeah.
you can think like, wow, I really don't have to put all my time and effort and energy into this.
Into figuring out the programming or figuring out the workouts or figuring out what I need to do. It's like, great, these people here are doing that for me. This
Yep.
program here is doing that for me.
Yep. I can show up and I can relax and I can lean into the process and
Yeah, and
enjoy the
just do the
process and
work.
just do the work and trust that someone else that knows what they're doing and does this with tons of other people
Yeah.
is going to give me the key to start to figure out how to do this on my own. And it doesn't have to be a long-term thing. Like,
Yeah.
we work with people anywhere from 12 weeks to some clients like 7
Years.
years.
Yeah.
It just kind of, it depends.
Yeah.
But your journey is your journey. It doesn't have to look the same as someone else's. So I think it's important to figure out what that why is for you.
So you can then communicate it to your partner so that
Invite them
they,
into the thought process
yeah, and
and
understand why it's important for
for
you.
sure, and hopefully get them on board. But if they're not, then set those boundaries in place and
Yeah.
revisit the conversation and
Yeah.
make it a priority, because if it's important to you, you'll make it happen. And if it's not, you just won't. That's the hard truth about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
If you want it and you're not getting it and you're not doing anything about it, then it really is just not that important to you.
Yeah.
And it may be kind of a hard pill to swallow, but
I think people need hard pills. We're kind of straightforward people a lot of the time, and I
for
think
sure.
people need some hard pills to swallow because if it is important to you, you'll find a way. If it's not, you'll find an excuse of why you're not going to do it.
Yep, facts. And we wanted to make sure that if you're one of these people, this conversation can help you start a conversation.
Yeah, obviously we're not in your relationship. We don't know your dynamics and
Nope.
all of that. But at the end of the day, if you are vulnerable with this other person or group of people, family,
Whoever it
whatever,
is.
then that's going to allow them to feel comfortable and vulnerable so you guys can have a conversation. I mean, at the end of the day,
Yep.
communicating why it's important to you, getting vulnerable so you can change your life.
Yep. So if this resonates with you or somebody you know, send them the episode. pass it along because it's why we talked about it, because I know that this is something a lot of people struggle with, and
Yeah.
it can be really tough when you want to have something change. You don't really know where to start, and you don't feel like you have the support you would like from the people that care about you and that you care about in your life.
Yeah.
And it can be legitimately life-changing to lean in and change your health and your habits and your behaviors and your routines. And it's worth the difficulty of the conversation. I promise you that.
Yeah. Just takes a little bit of effort to take the first step.
Yep.
Yeah.
And know that you're not alone, because a lot of people go through this. This is very common, probably one of the most common things we see.
Yeah.
So power through it, take steps in the right direction, communicate your why, and go from there.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Well, best of luck to you in the
Yeah.
conversation. We know it can be difficult, but
Yeah.
make it happen if it's important to you.
Yeah, definitely.
Appreciate you guys. We'll catch you next week.
This episode of the Higher Form podcast is powered by Avexia Health and Performance, your home for smart training, simple nutrition, and real accountability. Built to help you look, feel, and perform your best. Whether you're just getting started or chasing your next level, visit AvexiaKC.com to learn more and start building your higher form today.